All right, guys, so we're going to talk a little bit about nicotine safety, a little bit of the history about the vape industry, where nicotine was, where it's come, where the technology has come, and why it really matters and why it's important that you understand these things. As a responsible business owner in a community and who cares about this industry, we bear a measure of responsibility um, for what we sell and the product that we're selling. And of course, those of us business owners who actually care about public health uh, will take the time to explain these things to their customers, especially their young adults. So, back in the day, I was a pack and a half a day smoker, 24 years, Marlboro 100s. Couldn't quit no matter what. Vaping is what made it easy for me to quit. But in order to be successful and really quit, you need three things working in conjunction. You need a really good device that works as advertised, a complete setup, something that's not going to leak, it's not going to be a pain in the ass, it's something that's going to be easy for you and it's going to work well. Two, you need the right strength of nicotine to make sure that you stay away from the tobacco cigarettes. And three, you need a really good flavor that you absolutely love. When you got those three things working in conjunction, it's a piece of cake to walk away from the cigarettes, trust me. Um, that said, these young adults, 18, 19, coming out of high school, 17 in some cases, can't vape unless you're 18, just like smoking. Some states, in any states, you have to be 21. But, you're responsible for your own bodies. You know your bodies better than anybody else does. You know what is an acceptable risk for you. That said, back when vaping started, and I've been vaping since about 2007, 2008, like 2007, pretty since the beginning. Um, I started off at 24 milligram strength nicotine. Um, Occasionally, it was more of a rarity, but you could find some cases you could find 36 milligram nicotine. Even for me, as a pack a half a day smoker for so long, 36 was too much. It's harsh in your throat. But as time went along, as innovation took hold in the industry, technology got much better, and things became more efficient, the power and the efficiency forced us to go down in nicotine levels because 24 became too high, 18 became too high, 12 became too high, and for me, 6 became too high, and now I'm down to 3 milligram. I can see myself probably going to 1.5 milligram in the next maybe year or so. We'll see what happens. I will never go to zero. I know it's the safest thing to do, but I will never go to zero. Nicotine's like caffeine to me, and I need my caffeine and I need my nicotine. I'll be damned if I ever drink a cup of decaf coffee. Fuck that. Ain't happening. So I'm gonna need my little nicotine. Takes the edge off. It works for me. It's what I choose. I'm a free man in a free country. I can choose what is right for me. That said, the pod systems that are all the rage today with the nicotine salts, it's kind of making the old new again. It's bringing back low power devices that force you to kick up your strength in nicotine quite significantly. The thing is with the nicotine salts, it's a bit of a different process that creates this compound that they've dubbed salts. Same as your free-base nicotine, but what it does is it goes into your bloodstream much faster and it stays there longer, much like a traditional tobacco cigarette. Um, but it's with the nicotine salts, it is smoother on your throat than the regular free-base nicotine, thereby allowing you to vape much higher strengths of nicotine and not feel the harshness on your throat. That said, just because you can vape much higher milligram strength of nicotine doesn't mean you should vape higher milligrams of nicotine. If 24 and 36 was enough for us smokers packing a half a day for over, for decades, it's enough for you young adults today. Some of these manufacturers are being very irresponsible. They're playing a very clever game, old dirty big tobacco tricks, and it's about making money. I'm not going to mention their names, but you'll figure it out, I'm sure. As you know, they're being attacked in the media about selling, nicotine vapes to kids. Well, they're not trying to sell them and market them to kids as they would have you think, like such as your little brother coming out of junior high. But they are pushed on the kids, the young adults coming out of high school. For you guys to be hitting 50 milligram nicotine to get your buzz, straight out of high school, you don't have a pack a day habit you're trying to quit. You don't have any addiction or nicotine addiction you're trying to quit. But you get your hands on these 50 milligram and all of a sudden it's 50 fucking milligram. That's insane. It's unethical and it's irresponsible. Now, there is value in the 50 milligram and there is value in the pod systems. I didn't jump on the bandwagon right out the gate. I'm not a bandwagon jumper. I do my research. I'm more of the observant type. I sit back and observe shit. So I was concerned about the high nicotine in the nicotine salts and the way it was going. But let me tell you where I find the value. The value is these pod systems are great, and the high nicotine are great for social situations such as, date night, you're going to a convention, you're going to your job, you can't take too many breaks, you're in class in college. So the pods and nicotine salts come in very handy because think of it like if you take your date to the movie, and if you're a smoker, halfway through the movie, you're going to step outside, you're going to light one of them puppies up, get all nicked up, go back inside, sit down, smell like shit for the rest of the movie. But you're going to be okay. But when you get to these guys with the freebase nicotine, you chief on it a lot more than you did ever smoke. And that's okay because that's what keeps us off of the tobacco cigarettes. So with this, on my date night at the movies, I'm going to step outside, I'm going to take a few puffs, I'm going to go back in the movie, but I'm going to get all pissy sitting in the movie and go, why can't I fucking vape in this movie? I'm going to be vaping the whole time. So it's just the way it is. Whereas the pods and the nicotine salts, as I explained earlier, with it going into your bloodstream and staying longer, much like a regular tobacco cigarette, with the pod systems and the nicotine salts, you can step outside, get all nicked up, 8 or 9 puffs off your device just like you would a cigarette, go back in and finish watching the movie and not feel like you're going to die because you need to be vaping the whole fucking time. Does that make any sense? The 50 milligram strength nicotine, and shame on you fucking retailers that don't take the time, especially in college towns. You see these young adults coming in, they don't have a pack a day habit they're trying to fucking break, and they ask for the 50 milligram shit, and you just give it to them without explaining to them jack shit. You bear a measure of responsibility for your community and your vape community and the industry at large. We are under a microscope. We need responsible business owners who give a fuck about the public health in their community. The goal is to A, get people off of tobacco cigarettes, and B, keep people from going to tobacco cigarettes. So, there's that. The other thing is, these nicotine salts, they should be pushed on your mom and dad, your grandma and grandpa, your aunt and uncle who are skeptical, who don't see the value in a vape to help them quit smoking after decades of smoking. But now they see these small, sometimes beautiful little compact devices with no settings, sometimes no button to push. They just toke on it like a cigarette and voila. They see that they have the oh shit moment. I think I could do this and stay away from the cigarettes. That's who the 50 milligram needs to be pushed on. Now you're young adults and you're able to make decisions for your own body. But that 50 milligram nic high that you're getting, trust me, that nic high is going to get harder and harder and harder to fucking come by, and it's going to go away. At least from what you remember it being like. And the way to go down a lower tier of nicotine is to, once you're on something really high, I find in my experience is to go through a bottle or two of the next lowest level of nicotine. And by that time, your body gets pretty acclimated to it, and you don't really miss the nicotine at all anymore. And you could get just as nicked up on a 24 or 36 milligram strength as you could a 50. It'll take more puffs, much like a traditional cigarette. You take 10 or 11 puffs off of it so you feel nicked up to your desired level, and then go about your business. And even though you puffed on it more, you still consumed far, far less nicotine. So I won't mix 50 milligram. I just won't. It's unethical. I don't see the need for it. If I do, I won't be pushing it to young adults that don't have an addiction that they need to break, for sure. And some advice to you young adults: if you're not addicted to nicotine or smoking, I recommend you don't vape. Vape 0 milligram. If you want to take the edge off, you're a college student, I understand, I get it, you're a young adult, go low. Go low. There's no reason to go high. There's absolutely no reason. That Nick High, lame. Fucking lame. There's other ways. Never mind. Anyway, you get it. It's not worth it. And while it is 95% safer than traditional tobacco, nicotine is still a vascular inhibitor. It's still going to fuck with your heart, your circulatory system, your nervous system. Okay? So let's say you're chiefing on these 50 milligrams for like 2-3 decades. Okay? And that's your shit. You're probably not going to get lung cancer like you would with a traditional tobacco cigarette, but you're probably going to get something fucked up like suffer a stroke or a heart attack a good 20 years before your time. So the goal is to get your body acclimated to the lowest level of nicotine that you can thoroughly enjoy your vaping experience while staying away from the tobacco cigarettes. And that's it. That's the goal. That's where you should be at. Take into consideration that us manufacturers use 100 milligram nicotine. That's the strongest we can get to mix our products. When you buy a 50 milligram bottle and you look at that bottle, half of that bottle is the 100 milligram that we are manufacturing our products with, that we can't get on our skin because it would make us very ill and could possibly be fatal in a serious situation. You're vaping that. You didn't have a cigarette habit to break. You didn't have a nicotine habit. Absolutely, it's irresponsible. And these manufacturers know damn well that the retailers aren't doing their due diligence and most of the time don't fucking care. There are good vape companies out there. There are good vape manufacturers, usually the moms and pops, who care about their community and the public health of their community. There's other retailers who treat this as a fucking fad and just want to make as much money as they can as fast as they fucking can. And they sell usually shit products. They don't give their customers any education whatsoever. I try to talk my young customers in this college town not to do high nicotine or to do no nicotine at all. I talk to my customers and probe and see where they are to help try to find the right setup for them, the right level of nicotine and everything. It is very important that the community, especially those skeptical in the community, see us as an asset to the community and to the public health, not as a burden and not as somebody who's going to get their young adults. And we say children, and the media should get it fucking right, but when I look at these college kids coming in, I'm a 42-year-old man. When I see these college kids coming in, they're fucking kids. When they leave for the summer, I say I can't wait for these kids to come back because they're young adults, they're kids. That said, that's my bitch for the most part. See if I left anything out. No, I think I pretty much fucking covered everything. But anyway, that's my bitch. I hope it made sense. I hope it educates you a little bit, and I hope you take it into consideration whether you're thinking about vaping, whether you're already vaping, or whether you're selling vapes to people in your community. Clandestine Vapes, Shane Brooks. They call me Pilgrim.